In recent decades, obesity has risen dramatically, and one influential theoretical framework seeks to explain why. The Carbohydrate-Insulin Model, or CIM. According to this model, obesity is driven not simply by excess calories, but by hormonal and metabolic responses to high-glycemic carbohydrates. What is the Carbohydrate-Insulin Model? Under CIM, when we consume processed carbohydrates and sugars that raise blood glucose quickly, the pancreas secretes insulin. Insulin acts to drive glucose into cells and to promote storage of energy, especially into fat cells. At high levels, insulin shifts the body towards storing calories rather than burning them, increasing fat deposition. The model proposes that this process also leads to increased hunger and a lowered metabolic rate, creating a cycle where people overeat and burn fewer calories. How does it differ from the conventional calories in, calories out model? The conventional energy balance model treats all calories relatively equivalently. Weight gain or loss depends on the difference between intake and expenditure. CIM challenges that by putting emphasis on which calories are eaten, particularly refined, high glycemic carbs, and how they affect hormonal regulation and fat storage, even when total calories are held constant. Imagine two diets providing the same total calories. Diet A, lots of white bread, sugar, refined grains. Diet B, lower glycemic load, more fiber, whole foods. According to CIM, Diet A triggers higher insulin, drives more fat storage, and leads to greater hunger and lower energy use. Diet B moderates those insulin spikes, favoring better metabolic balance. However, the evidence is mixed. Some behavioral trials show modest weight loss advantages of low glycemic diets over low-fat diets, though long-term results are hampered by poor adherence. Critics say that controlled feeding studies often fail to support a large metabolic advantage, and that insulin effects alone cannot fully explain obesity trends. What solutions or implications follow from CIM? If CIM is valid or partially valid, the strategy would be reduce intake of high glycemic, refined carbohydrates, emphasize low glycemic load foods like vegetables, legumes, and whole fruits, balance macronutrients, and moderate insulin responses. Because the model is not definitively proven, a practical approach is to combine it with the energy balance framework. Control overall calorie intake while prioritizing food quality. In sum, the carbohydrate-insulin model offers an alternative lens on obesity, one that highlights hormonal regulation, particularly insulin's role in directing energy storage, hunger, and metabolic rate. It is not universally accepted or sufficient alone to explain obesity, but it has stimulated research into how carbohydrate quality, insulin dynamics, and fat metabolism interact in human physiology. Thanks for watching.